music. Tune in to JMM Radio. Every Wednesday, only here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Social-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Oh! Halikino! 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 Ready? 1, 2! Halikino! Kinikina! Halikino! Kinikina! Yebo! Yebo! Atilera! Halikino! Kinikina! Halikino! Kinikina! Yebo! Yebo! Atilera! Halikino! 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 Kinikina! Ra! 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 Halikino! Halikino! Ra! Halikino! Kinikina! Ra! Ra! Ra!
Huwag kang magulat kung sa darating na panahon ay ikaw din ang paratangan ng rebelde. Anti-Espanyol, anti-Iglesia. Ang importante, gawin mo ang tama.
3 martyrs facing bitter death, all in the name of equality, justice, and truth.
Don Pedro, di ba kayo natatakot?
Bakit ako matatakot magsabi ng totoo?
From the creators of the globally acclaimed biopic Ignacio de Loyola comes this epic retelling of the story that sparked a revolution.
Hindi niyo pinatitinggan!
Will their story inflame the heart of an oppressed nation?
Sabihin mo sa akin, Padre, hindi ba talaga tayo minalas at sinumpang bayan?
Gong Bursa, directed by Pepe Diokno.
Buhay pa ba ang alab sa puso mo?
Brought to you by Jescom Films and MQuest Ventures in cooperation with CMB Film Services. Unofficial entry to the 2023 Metro Manila Film Festival premieres December 25 in cinemas nationwide.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan, Radyo, 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 Katipunan, Radyo, Radyo, Katipunan. Sa Radyo Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, Radyo, 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 Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayon, tunong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, Radyo, 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 Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan, Radyo, 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 Katipunan, Radyo, Katipunan.
Welcome to RK Sports, where we take you right into the action with the highlights, insights, and analysis of the sports scene in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. With your hosts, Anthony Perez and Mookie Borja. Katipunan. Game on.
Alright, what is up, Blue Eagle Nation? We are just officially, ano ba, Mookie? A week and a half away or almost 2 weeks away from Christmas. And welcome, guys, to our year-end episode, our last for 2023. Once again, this is Anthony, bringing you another exciting edition of Radyo Katipunan Sports. We are live via Radyo Katipunan on Facebook, YouTube, 87.9 on your FM band. And joining me as always is the young fella, Mookie B. Mookie, how excited are you for the upcoming Christmas break?
I am so excited for the holidays. Actually, we're kind of in the middle of it. Right now, just to share my house rather, where my family lives. We have so many relatives coming in already from different places of the world, and I'm very excited to spend Christmas with them.
Nice. That's the spirit. Diba? And I know, we're all busy with, our own personal festivities for the holidays. But don't forget, there's a lot of sports going around.
No, definitely. We
Diba?
still have so many, like NBA still going. The NFL's nearing the playoffs, so definitely a lot of sports still to watch over the break.
All right. And we'll start you off, guys, with just a bit of news around the Blue Eagles nest. We just concluded the first semester sports for the UAAP.
Right.
But a familiar guest of ours, Mookie, is still doing some domination. International domination. She's a recent guest of ours. It's UAAP Season 86 Women's Badminton Co-MVP, Mika de Guzman, proving victorious once again, this time against an Indian opponent at the 2023 Apex Kazakhstan International Series.
Right. I think she talked about this when she was on the show, that she was gonna fly out for an international competition, and lo and behold, she won that one. Again, I think this is just what she's known for now. Mika, she is known to dominate on the badminton court, and even on the international stage, she still has it. So congrats to Mika.
Congrats to Mika, indeed. And now, going over to one of the main basketball stories that we've had, for this week. Mookie and I are gonna recap the pretty impressive finals that was at the NBA in-season tournament. But first, some breaking news. Just this morning, Golden State Warriors starting forward Draymond Green has been handed down an indefinite suspension by the NBA's league office for, in his own admission, inadvertently punching, but we all know what happened there, for punching Phoenix Suns center Yusuf Nurkic right in the face. This just happens, Mookie, a few weeks after he put Rudy Gobert in the chokehold. A full year after he stomped on Domantas Sabonis' chest
In the playoffs, right?
So it's just you could see the trend with Draymond. No, it's just cases upon cases of, that's not physical play. That's dirty. That's downright dirty play.
I don't know what's happening with Draymond, and I definitely don't know what's happening with the Warriors organization, how they're handling it. Reports were saying they're gonna get him counseling during his suspension, this suspension. I think the fact that he's been suspended twice this early in the season is pretty insane. This indefinite suspension is probably going to last longer than the 5 games he got for putting Rudy Gobert in a sleeper hold. But, the play yesterday was so bizarre because, he said it was an accident and all that, but the way he swung his arm and why was his fist closed and everything, even if you're trying to fake a foul, that's not how you do it. And he knows that. That's the thing. Everything he does on the court, he wants to do. There was a bit of remorse yesterday during the press con when he talked about it, but you could tell that in game, like, that's what he wanted to do, that, and he got ejected for it.
Right. And this isn't the first time we've seen, as we've mentioned a while ago, we've seen Draymond put himself in such a predicament, right? I mean, is this the worst thing he's done? No. I mean, aside from kicking LeBron in
missing a game in the finals,
where the sun don't shine, but with this, Mookie, with Golden State trying to milk every ounce of Steph's prime, what's left of it, and with the hopes of pushing for a deep playoff run, it's all but gone.
They're
Realizing
in
that
trouble this season, right?
exactly, realizing that your chief anchor of your Golden State defense is now gonna be on the shelf for, I don't know,
What's your estimate? I think it's gonna be like 20 games, like
more than
Ja Morant's suspension.
more than
Okay.
easily. I see
You're right. The Warriors season is shot in a way because it's so hard to replace. I mean, we say so many things about Draymond, how he's not playing very well. I pulled up his stats. He's only averaging 9 points, 5.8 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. That's, for Draymond, that's typical. But then, he can do way more, especially in the regular season. But it's just so alarming now without him being as, he's still their defensive anchor, like you said, their heart and soul, some people say. And, they already rely so much on Steph. And now Steph has to do it alone for real this time.
Right.
Because you said Clay's not working out so far. Wiggins has regressed as well. So, we talked about it a few shows ago, like the state of the Warriors, where I said I wasn't really worried. And then now, this is me worrying.
Yes.
I'm a big Steph Curry fan, and this is very, very... It's going to be very challenging for him. You brought up something a while ago before the show, the Warriors should take like a Patriots approach, like in the NFL, where they should just shuffle everyone except for Steph, build a team around Steph. And I think that's a good way to go at this point, with the age and just the lack of anyone else contributing on the team except for Steph.
Right.
I think that's the way to go for them.
And the perfect time to move pieces is now.
Right.
Is now when, you're not going to have Draymond. Steph isn't his usual self. Clay, sorry. Clay isn't his usual self. So is Andrew Wiggins. So the perfect time for the Warriors to make some drastic changes is right about now if they still want to save this season.
I mean, no one has... I think there hasn't... If my memory... no one has made a big trade yet this season. It's relevantly been quiet when it comes to player movement so far. So, and it's honestly been quite a healthy season as well. There hasn't been a really major injury. I think even Ja Morant's coming back next week. We won't be able to cover that, but I think that's going to be exciting. So, yeah, if there's a time to trade any of their assets, which I think they still have a lot of assets on that team, they should. The boys from Chicago, any piece from Toronto, maybe that could help the team. Go for it. I think this season is done as of right now, and you can only build. You can only change the composition of this team so that Steph can still have the season, because Steph's having a really good season.
Yeah, he still is.
He's producing much more than past seasons. Some people are saying it's the best he's ever looked, but then in terms of results, they're not getting the wins.
Right.
So it's all for naught in a way.
Right. So, a big conundrum for the Warriors brass of Mike Dunleavy and Steve Kerr is, do we keep the trio for nostalgia's sake, or do we bite the bullet and say, you know what, we still want to compete, we still want to bring another ring to the Bay Area, so it's time to just reshuffle the deck?
I mean, it's more than biting a bullet, because they really doubled down on it. They got rid of all their young players. They had so many prospects. You had Jordan Poole, you had James Wiseman. Kuminga, they still have Kuminga and Moody, but then those two players, especially Poole, was, Poole was their guy after Steph. He was a legit second option for a lot of their championship run until Wiggins came along. So, losing him and just saying, no, we're going to stick with these three guys until the wheels fall off. Well, I think now the wheels have fell off. Fast, rather. Yeah, and they have to, they just have to make a move. There's no other way of saying that. Change has to be made to that team for them to even make the play-in.
Right.
Because there's so many talented teams in the West especially that they can't be left behind. They have to, pick up where, wherever they are this season, and have to buy into getting new players and getting rid of the people who, are hard to get rid of.
So beware, Dubs fans. Heads are about to
Yeah.
roll. All right, to some more cheerful news. No, the Los Angeles Lakers have won the inaugural NBA Cup, the first ever champions of the NBA in-season tournament. Can you believe it, Mookie? Your team, your
Yes.
favorite team, is gonna hang a banner in Staples
A banner.
in December, right?
Yeah.
In December. This was, by the way, guys, to our listeners, no, this was Mookie's pick last week. No, I picked the finals matchup of Pacers.
You did.
Pacers versus
You
Lakers,
called
which
it.
I was right. But Mookie is the eventual champion of our bets on this
Thank you.
table. So, Mookie, Pacers and Lakers, I picked it because there is some history to that matchup.
There is. Yeah.
2000 finals, Afro Kobe with the legendary Game 6 performance on a sprained ankle, willing the Lakers to victory. But, you know, this win belongs to LeBron and Anthony Davis for just an impressive performance in that IST final. And my main takeaway from this, Mookie, is the Lakers prove that ultimately it's still size and length that still matters, even in this era of pace and space.
Right. Especially, when you have a big guy like Anthony Davis who completely demolished the Pacers defense during that game. You can get him going early, AD, but then if he wants to dominate, of course he'll dominate. When he saw Miles Turner up against him, when he saw Obi Toppin against him, those guys I think are too small and not at the level that Anthony Davis is. So, that helps a lot. I enjoyed so much because it reminded me of, the bubble where a lot of the time, after the bubble, we didn't see a lot of Anthony Davis really dominating. But during that bubble restart, you could see Anthony Davis just want to win the title. And LeBron has a lot of things to do with that because you assume that LeBron pushes his team as much as he pushes himself, which they won the whole thing. So
Right.
that shows. So when you have AD rolling like that and LeBron just leading the charge with his energy, that's the thing that struck a lot of people the most during this in-season tournament. Ganado siya maglaro. You could see na he wanted to win the money. The money was a big factor for him, but at the same time, it was just something he could win, another accomplishment, and he embraced that. He scored. During the semifinals game, he scored 30 points in like 26 minutes, I believe, and they disposed of the Pelicans too. So both of them, when they're on, they're unbeatable. The size, you mentioned the size aspect. The Lakers are getting healthier. They got Vando back. They have Rui Hachimura back from his nose fracture. The Lakers are getting more and more complete, and it's just a matter of chemistry now.
Right.
Building from, a lot of pieces that might not make sense right now. I think Christian Wood should get more minutes. He has been on the bench, riding the bench lately, and I think the one weak spot that isn't really a weak spot, but I think can get better is D'Angelo Russell's play. I think D'Lo can play much better because he's on the hot seat. If they're gonna make a trade, it's gonna involve him. The Kyrie trade, the break glass Kyrie trade or some other star. He's D'Lo's gonna be in that, so he has to play for a spot on that team because everyone else is pretty much set.
Right. So you mentioned about the bubble, Mookie. People forget that roster that the Lakers had in that bubble run, that was also a big team with AD, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee,
Right.
Markieff Morris. That was built on size. And this team, this 2023 IST title winning Lakers team, used that size to full advantage with Anthony Davis. Again, monster performance, 41 points, 20 rebounds, and 4 blocks. The best I've seen him since the bubble.
Right.
One of his best performances. And LeBron James adding 24 points and 11 rebounds. These two contributed to more than 80 points in the paint for the Lakers. And the staggering number here is the Lakers only scored 10 points outside the paint all game long in 2023. When does a team just score 10 points outside the paint?
I mean, when you have, when you have the size that they have, it's, of course you go to that. That's what LeBron figured out right away against the Pacers team. They had, I think, Buddy Hield to start on him, Benedict Mathurin. They're not as big as LeBron. So once they saw, LeBron keep attacking, then you could dish it out. Then you could just dish it inside to AD because he can just pound you inside all the time. So, and a lot of that game, Austin Reeves chipped in, I think, 28 points also. Everyone just fed off that point, which was just to keep driving, keep drilling these people because they can't guard you. The Pacers played well. They were in the game most of the way.
Yeah, I mean, just like 6 minutes to go, they cut it down to 3.
Right, but then the avalanche of size just mattered too much, and the Lakers are. You said a while ago they're hanging a banner for this in-season tournament. So, it matters to the players. We saw that, I think early in the tournament how much it mattered to them. But then, just after seeing how the Lakers won and LeBron, who is arguably the most important player in the league, give a lot of care about how he wants his teammates to win.
Yes.
To get that experience of winning something in the league is so important for him. And that's what led it. His leadership is what drove that team.
Mm-hmm. And talking about leadership, no, Mookie, I remember Doris Burke pointing this out on the broadcast. No, Cam Reddish had a good run, out on the floor, and as he was going back to bench, you can tell LeBron was, communicating some instructions to him.
Right.
And what Doris Burke was saying, I remember, just listen to LeBron, you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
with the wealth of wisdom, basketball wisdom that LeBron has with this 20 years of NBA experience, and you can tell, like when Anthony Davis was attacking Miles Turner,
right? There was a clip,
right at his chest, banging him right at his chest. It was LeBron.
Yeah, it was LeBron who said to go right to his chest. He did the same.
Negate his shot blocking ability by attacking his chest. So you know what? If you just listen, if you just pick up like the wisdom that LeBron conveys, I mean, good things will happen for you.
Doc Rivers was talking about LeBron during that broadcast as well, about how, as LeBron got older, or rather, as Doc Rivers got older as a player, he could see the play better, but he couldn't do the things he wanted to do. But for LeBron, it's so different because, he sees the game better, and at the same time, he can do what he wants to do because he's still in such peak condition. And when you have a player like that who can see literally any play, he's that smart, then it's so easy for you because all you had to do is listen to him. All AD had to do was just go through Miles Turner's chest.
Right.
And he kept doing that, and he scored 40 and 20. So LeBron this season is the most locked in I've seen him. I think that's safe to say since the first Anthony Davis season, where you could just see how much he enjoyed playing with AD that first season. And now I think he likes playing with this group, but I think what's more important is he likes picking them apart, trying to teach them new things so that they can get better. Because like what you said, Cam Reddish was unproven when he got to the Lakers this season. But then, Darvin Ham helped in that. But LeBron's confidence in Cam Reddish, just gave him confidence because, when arguably one of the best players in the history of basketball believes in you, then of course you're gonna gain so much confidence,
exactly,
as his teammate.
And in this game, man, I mean, we know LeBron at age 38 is trying to conserve the most energy, that his energy reserves, no. But in this one, he was cutting off the ball, attacking. Sorry, Aaron Nesmith, but you're too small.
Yeah, no, he's too small.
On the post-ups, he was attacking him. I mean, it was the most active I've seen LeBron play.
Right.
It
really felt like a game that mattered.
Yes.
But in December,
Yes.
So that's, I guess, the success of the in-season tournament.
Right. So Adam Silver's mission for making the games in November through December more eventful, more meaningful, was accomplished.
Yes.
And for me, Mookie, the huge factor here is it really mattered that LeBron and your favorite team, the Lakers, won. Because imagine, imagine if this was a Minnesota versus New Orleans matchup.
Or just take Pacers, Pelicans. If the Pelicans won.
Like, yes, it still would have made history, but to the magnitude of
the reach,
diba, of a global brand like the Lakers,
right?
Making it big in the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas, it made, it set the bar high for the in-season tournament, right? It sets a huge, precedent for, following in-season tournament iterations to come, no? And well, if the rumors are true, LeBron might eventually buy a franchise in Las Vegas.
Own the Las Vegas team, right?
But no, because Adam Silver in the
when he gave the MVP
presenting MVP presentation, he was like saying, "I'm sorry, it doesn't come with a franchise," but still though, I mean, just the single game elimination, the venue itself of Las Vegas, that made it, such a, again, it really made for a solid first run.
I mean, and let's give props to the Pacers, because I think without the platform of the in-season tournament, they would still be under the radar. But now I think, a lot of basketball casual watchers now know of Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
Of course we knew Tyrese Halliburton at such a
as diehard,
like an up and coming player, really talented. But then, now he had this run of incredible performances. I mean, he beat Giannis and Dame. That he shot a 3 over Giannis's outstretched arms and made it. And he, as well as the Pacers, with Rick Carlisle, they played really well during that stretch, and you have to give props to them because now they're on a lot of people's radars as one of the dark horses, not even to just make the play-in, but to be one of the top 6 teams for a playoff spot. Yeah. Because, Tyrese has this quote, which I find very funny, but it's kind of true because he just said he's tired of being a loser. He wants to make the playoffs. He wants to bring his team, to some success in the regular season. So it was really good to see him, make it that far in the in-season tournament, and that's just momentum for the rest of the season.
Right. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, you mentioned it, 20 points, 11 assists. Although in a losing effort, my newspaper headline for him would be, after this in-season tournament run, Mookie, would be "A Star is Born."
Yes.
That's my headline for him. The platform that the in-season tournament provided for an upstart team like Indiana, because usually these types of teams, you have to wait until the playoffs to prove yourself,
right?
But for you to experience something akin to playoff like atmosphere in November and December, prepares you for what could be a playoff run.
I mean, you can say it's made up pressure because in the end it's a regular season game. But then there was a trophy. There's a banner coming, so it's important when the players themselves gave importance to this.
Yes.
Then you could see how much it mattered to them that they wanted to win it. And I mean, Rick Carlisle, coached that team very well. A lot of them are really young. Only Miles Turner I would say has like the most legit playoff experience. He was with Paul George during the latter half of his Pacers career. So, Tyrese Halliburton's never been to the playoffs. Buddy Hield has never been to the playoffs. So you want these guys to, gain experiences like this where a lot of the time, again, especially against the Lakers, the crowd is against you. You're really saving your saving your season with every win, because with the loss you're done. You're not gonna go to Vegas. Right. You're not gonna be able to enjoy Las Vegas. So props to them. They really deserved it. I think all 4 teams that made it, even the Pelicans, despite losing like that,
Yeah.
rolling over against the Lakers, I think that's still an achievement for that team because we expect so much from that Pelicans team because of the talent that's accumulated there. So much young potential. And it's good to see them make, a game like that. Not necessarily, I didn't like the way they played because they played horribly, but just to make it there, to prove them worthy enough to make Las Vegas, to make the Final Four, which that means they took it seriously enough.
Right.
So that should also be a big boost for them. And it was, because after that, lackluster performance, Zion scored 36 a few days ago.
Yeah.
So really good bounce back performance from him.
And for us fans, to care about like a new novel invention of the NBA, such as the in-season tournament, for us fans to care, it starts with the players. Right? It's not the media, it's not the league. It starts with the players, and it matters that the greatest player of his generation, LeBron, cared about it. You're damn sure that other NBA players will care about it for sure.
I mean, some reporters were clamoring for another in-season tournament, like in between Feb and March, because that's how locked in they saw the players,
Right.
because it really mattered to them. I mean, a lot of the times the critics were saying, "Oh, 500K is nothing to these players who are making millions of dollars," but then that's just an outside perspective.
Yeah.
$500,000 for any person, especially during the holiday season, is a lot of money.
Right.
So, they took it seriously. The Lakers most especially with LeBron. And, now it doesn't, in the end, you could say, well, what's the point? Diba? What did they really win? But then it's gonna come. This is the first.
Yeah,
this is
it
the first
builds
year.
tradition.
This tradition is only gonna build.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see what Adam Silver does to keep improving it. There are
Right.
so much incentives that he could add.
Yeah.
Like some people say playoff spots, some people say
I'd go for
draft
that.
picks. Yeah, right. 'Cause
I'd go for
that
that.
adds more. That adds more, at stake to what you can win. Because imagine how big of a boost it would be if you won the in-season tournament early in the season, but then one of your players got hurt for an extended amount of
Right.
time. But you have that sure playoff spot. Then you don't have to worry as much because you have a safe.
Right.
So let's see.
And besides, Mookie, about guys at the end of the bench, like, okay, newsflash, not everyone in the NBA makes LeBron money.
That's true.
A guy like Max Christie, if you get $500,000, hey,
Yes.
that's still $500,000
Exactly.
in your pocket. And I mean, again, building off from the success of this first run of the IST, guaranteed playoff spot. I mean, seeding implications. I mean, there's the places that this tournament can go. I mean, unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable.
I mean, if we look at the equivalent, if the framework, which are the domestic cups in football, it matters. It matters to those teams if they win. For in England, the FA Cup, it matters to them if they win the Carabao Cup. So, but that's over a period of time. The FA Cup has been here for I think 100+ years. So of course the tradition has more tradition is there. But this is the start, and especially for basketball, fans like us, we just like it when these players play hard.
yeah.
We saw Giannis and Tyrese Halliburton go at it, and it was just that was like the start of December. We don't see that unless it's like a nationally televised game between like two sure contenders.
Yeah.
Like, you can think of great regular season games. Like the one that comes to me is OKC Golden State, when Steph made that crazy behind half court three to win it. That was a regular season game, but the atmosphere felt like it was a playoff game.
Right.
So if we can just replicate more performances and more games like that, then it's only gonna be good for the NBA.
Right. And it comes at the right time no, for North American sports because November, December, you have the in-season tournament. January, February, that's going to be NFL playoffs and Super Bowl. By the time March rolls around, college basketball,
Right.
March Madness kicks in. So you're not competing with these two sporting events, right? So you have a tournament that's all to yourself in what many people say are the doldrums of the season. You have something going for you
Right.
without competing with other leagues. So that's something that you can claim.
That was one of the reasons why they wanted to do this, right? Because they say the NFL owns Sunday in the States, so they wanted Tuesday and Friday games. That was their plan, so that minus the football, they could get some ratings up, and I think they did. I saw one stat. I think the broadcast of the Pacers-Lakers finals had, I think, the most viewership for a regular season game in I think 5 years. So that speaks a lot. That's a really good improvement.
Right. So NBA season tournament, what a success. You crown the first champion. Your new media rights deal looks, it's gonna look good. After with the ratings that you mentioned, Mookie. And chance for building on this tournament, future expansion. It all converges in just one tournament. So I mean, you, me, and diehard basketball fans out there are really, really, excited for what this tournament can bring in the future.
I'm hoping it can bring more, like more excitement. I'm pretty sure once there is gonna be a team in Las Vegas eventually, they can have it in some other place. Like I love neutral playing fields. It really is. It really has become like the March Madness. That's what they really try to emulate, and I think that's good because, it wasn't fair that Las Vegas is very near California, which Lakers fans were easily able to make the trip for the finals. But, if you have it in some other places, and it also depends on who the two teams are to meet, or the four teams are to meet, then it's only going to be really so much fun.
Okay, and that wraps up our recap of the first ever NBA in-season tournament. Congratulations to Mookie and his LA Lakers for winning the quote-unquote chip. It's not the official chip, but it's
NBA
still
Cup.
NBA Cup. All right, but we'll just pause for a quick break, and when we return, Mookie has compiled a very special Christmas list for you guys listening to us. So we'll be recapping the top sports stories of 2023 right here on RK Sports when we return in just a few. Keep it here.
Coming right back. Hey, Katipuneros, don't change that dial because we'll be coming right back. Hey, Katipuneros, don't change that dial because we'll be coming right back.
It's time for the music class. Join us for an evening of learning music and appreciating the art behind every hum, tune, and beat. Listen to engaging performances and insights from some of the top and upcoming musicians in the scene today. Tune in every Tuesday evening here on The Music Class. Let the music class begin.
Mamangha sa lalim at ganda ng ating kultura at diwang makabayan, sa mga salita at pahina, sa tulong ng mga guro at manunulat ng panitikang Pilipino. Halina't tuklasin ang yaman ng ating panitikan, ang pamana ng ating lahi. Kasama si Binibining Andrea Trinidad, Ginoong Jethro Tenorio at Ginoong Yol Hamendang ng Kagawaran ng Filipino ng Pamantasang Ateneo de Manila. Ito ang Sari-Sari, ang Catholic Mass Media Awards Special Citation Awardee para sa pinakamagaling na palatuntunang pang-edukasyon sa radyo. Dito sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Huwag kang magulat kung sa darating na panahon ay ikaw din ang paratangan rebelde, anti-Espanyol, anti-Iglesia. Ang importante, gawin mo ang tama.
3 martyrs facing bitter death, all in the name of equality, justice, and truth.
Don Pedro, di ba kayo natatakot?
Bakit ako matatakot magsabi ng totoo?
From the creators of the globally acclaimed biopic Ignacio de Loyola comes this epic retelling of the story that sparked a revolution. Will their story inflame the heart of an oppressed nation?
Sabihin mo sa akin, Padre, hindi ba talaga tayo minalas at sinumpang bayan?
Gong Bursa, directed by Pepe Diokno.
Buhay pa ba ang alab sa puso mo?
Brought to you by Jescom Films and MQuest Ventures in cooperation with CMB Film Services. Unofficial entry to the 2023 Metro Manila Film Festival premieres December 25 in cinemas nation. Welcome to RK Sports, where we take you right into the action with the highlights, insights, and analysis of the sports scene in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. With your hosts, Anthony Perez and Mookie Borja. Katipunan. Game on.
Alright everyone, we are back here live on Radyo Katipunan Sports. Earlier, Mookie and I were just recapping the very eventful first ever championship run of the Los Angeles Lakers at the NBA in-season tournament. And now, it is time to look back at the year that was and take a look at some of the most impressive highlights in sports of 2023. But first, just want to give a shout out to my Tita Fe and of course Father Nono for tuning into our broadcast this afternoon. Maraming salamat po for listening to Mookie and I go over some of the best sports stories that we've witnessed recently. So Mookie, how do you wanna attack this list that you made?
I mean, there's only a couple of events here that I wanted to shout out, but I think I want to mention an honorable mention actually.
Okay.
I think this is one of the big stories that came out, I think, of just a few days ago, which was Shohei Ohtani signing with the Dodgers.
I mean, can you... MLB Players Union, you are simply the best. The best. You put the NFL to shame. You put the NBA to shame.
I mean, when you put the NBA to shame, I think that's a pretty
Goodness gracious. 10 years, 700
Yes.
Emmys in his pocket. But, Mookie, a little bit of history here. No?
Mm-hmm.
The president for this was a guy who played for the New York Mets, who retired back in 1999, before you were born. His name was Bobby Bonilla.
Yes.
Bobby Bonilla, at the age of 59, is still receiving $1.9 million in his pocket
Yes.
just because of the deferred payments. And he's going to receive that until 2035.
Mm-hmm.
And Shohei Ohtani took guidance from this and has, requested the Los Angeles Dodgers for a deferred payment as well, which is so smart because, number one, you are not subjected to state income tax in California.
Yes.
Which saves you more than you can ever earn.
I know.
Till 2040 something?
Right. 2046, I think.
I mean, this guy, Shohei Ohtani, unbelievable. He was already a legend with the Angels with Mike Trout, but this takes you from baseball superstar to, I don't know,
global icon,
financial icon. Guru. My goodness.
Because it's amazing also for the Dodgers, because then they only have to pay him $2 million a year for the 10 years he's playing. But then that means they can get a lot more players because they're still under.
Yeah, you can build a team around him.
They already have a very good team, but then they can get more, players, more star players, because arguably your best player is only being paid $2 million a year. So an amazing move, strategy even by Shohei. And I'm just so excited. I'm a Dodgers fan because of Mookie Betts, but then I can't believe Shohei Ohtani's in the Dodgers. It's also smart for him because he didn't have to move. I think that's one of the big reasons why he stayed in LA. But then the money is unlike anything I've ever seen.
I mean, and I'm even more happy that it's Shohei getting that bag.
Yes.
Because of how just humble he is.
And he's so deserving of this contract.
Yeah.
He's really such a game changer for baseball. They needed someone like him to bring back the excitement of baseball.
Yeah.
And boy, is the city of LA is just, once again, just filled with stars.
Definitely. Shohei Ohtani. Show May the money.
Show me the money.
All right. Up next, Mookie, what do you have for me?
All right. So I think the first sports story of this year, for me at least, is the Filipinas, the women's football national team.
We made it to the World Cup.
Filipinas run. Yes, during the 2023 Women's World Cup. It was such an inspiring story for us to even get there.
Yeah.
Such an unlikely team to make the World Cup. But they did. They had, and they were the underdog. We were in a very strong group. We were with Switzerland and New Zealand.
Yeah.
One of the two out of the 4 teams, and we ended up beating the co-host New Zealand 1-0. And I think to just score a goal in the World Cup and end up winning that game, our striker Serena Bolden should be proud.
Oh yeah.
There were lots of speculations and even criticisms about how, this team isn't necessarily completely Filipino. But I think, it doesn't matter. They put on that uniform, and they represented our country really well. And
exactly.
It's such a great story. And, that's also such a young team. They have so many prospects. And I can't wait for more news about the Filipinas and how they can represent our country. Like how Gilas represents our basketball team, national team. So
right. And I'm just, aside from the fact that defining race is such a complex topic. I mean, that goes beyond sports. That goes into demographics, politics, and whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. That's gonna be a headache for us, no. But I'm just so happy that soccer. I mean, not just not just women's soccer, men's soccer, but Filipino football is alive and kicking again.
Right.
Like I saw how Vascals just shot up into the national spotlight in 2010, and then it just fizzled out as soon as they shot up.
as fast, yeah.
And this one just put some life back into the heartbeat of Filipino football. And
I did speak as well because we in the World Cup of all places.
The World Cup,
yeah,
diba?
One of the biggest stages.
People are still saying, "Oh, the Ascals can't even get out of the ASEAN tournament."
It's not a competition. It really isn't. It's just
this is the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, that was amazing. I remember watching the Serena Bolden header while I was having lunch downstairs. So that was really amazing. So I mean, this is the jump start that Filipino football needs once again.
So much exciting times ahead for Filipino football, and I can't wait for more storylines for this team, and as well as the Ascals. And I hope they can turn that program around as much as the Filipinas were able to.
Okay.
So the next one relating to the Women's World Cup is the Gilas Asian Games, in China.
We talked about this.
This was one of our first topics in this show. And I think it's a big deal because it's been a long time since we've won the Asian Games.
More than 60 years.
Yes. So I'm very happy that happened. We're going to talk about the impetus of why it mattered a little bit later. But then, just to see that team go up against so much adversity because of the showing that they made in the World Cup, just how they bounced back was just really good. Justin Brownlee was a hero. I think a national hero already.
Yeah.
For a lot of basketball fans here because of how clutch he was during those last 2 games, which we really needed him to win. But yeah, I mean, people, they can say that it's just the Asian Games, but in the World Cup, they didn't really show up. But then, we haven't won the Asian Games in so long, so I think that's worth celebrating at least this year because they had a lot of adversity, that team, especially after that World Cup. So for them to just fight back and win and beat China in their own backyard was even
twice.
We
beat them twice.
So much sweeter. So that's one of my top sports stories of 2023.
And for many diehard, Gilas fans out there, that win, sits atop the Philippine basketball mountain. Let me tell you this, Mookie, this is just in hindsight, but had this Gilas Asian Games roster competed at the World Cup, we would have made it to the top 16. I am like 99.9% sure we would have made it to the top 16.
I won't argue on that. And that's actually where we're going to next, the FIBA World Cup, which I think is a big deal for me because it was held in the Philippines. It's a good chance for us Filipinos to really see stars.
Yeah.
In hindsight, Tyrese Halliburton was here playing here. Anthony Edwards was here playing.
Loved watching him play.
So, Jalen Brunson, Brandon Ingram. So, we got to see so many stars. Luke was even here. SGA. So, to see those players in person, to watch them go up against, each other, sort of like the NBA, was really so important to us as a country because, we don't really get opportunities like that. The NBA players don't go here a lot, especially those kinds of NBA players, like the not really superstar level ones. So it's good that we were able to see them and just how deserving of a country we are because of our obsession with basketball. And finally, we got to see a tournament like this, come to fruition here in the country.
Right.
And, this was the impetus of that Gilas Asian Games win and how important it was because Gilas didn't do really well in this World Cup. We were expected to win at least half of our games. We ended up just winning one. But that one was really, really, really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the last game of their campaign and a lot of the country have turned back on them already, especially turned their backs on Coach Chot. So it was really good for them to just beat China convincingly to show that, not really to apologize, but then to show that we're still a very capable basketball team despite losing a lot of winnable games when you think about it. I think the first game against Dominican Republic, we should have won that game. I think especially the Angola game, we made a really good run there. It just came up short. We had the pieces. Like you said, maybe it wasn't the right team. If the Asian Games team was the one who represented, I think they would have had a better shot. And I agree. I think going into the World Cup, I was leaning towards Justin Brownlee being our import more than Jordan Clarkson. But of course, you can't deny an NBA player who wants to represent us. So, just to put on a show. I mean, all for, nothing can be said about the show Gilas Pilipinas put on because I was there for, I think, 4 of the Gilas games and the Araneta Coliseum was packed. I've never seen that much people, except for maybe the UAAP finals. But then that's the UAAP finals. This is just, it's a big deal. It's the World Cup. But then for those amount of people to just cheer for one team specifically was just a memory I won't forget. So I think the World Cup, just as an experience for not just me but then for the whole country, is one of the top sports stories of the year for me as well.
And this was for me, Mookie. This was basketball 101 for many Filipinos. I know, we're well versed into how the NBA style is played. But exposing yourself to how European teams attack basketball, like Germany, of course, they won the cup. Greece, these types of teams.
Serbia,
seeing the way they move the basketball on a string, I mean, impressive.
I think a lot of eyes were opened, especially during those latter stages, during the quarterfinals, because then you could see how much, how the NBA game we see every day, that's broadcasted here daily, that's not the way, that's not the superior way of playing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different styles and a lot of different rotations that can happen. And, a team like Germany just showed that, how size matters still. The knock on the Team USA team was that they were small. Mikal Bridges was their 4, Jaren Jackson Jr. was their 5. There wasn't a lot of size when you compare it to Serbia or Germany, teams like that who had big men who they could give the ball to and score.
Yeah.
So I think the Filipinos, you're right, the Filipinos did have like a crash course almost of how different styles of play are not much better, but then just to see how much different and how well you can perform despite not being athletically advanced like the Americans.
Yeah. All right, Mookie, since we're running out of time here, let's just go through the remaining points on your list, but we'll try to comment on them as quickly as we can.
Okay,
so go ahead.
I think more basketball. This year, LeBron passed Kareem in career points. That's a big milestone. Not just for LeBron and Kareem, but also for the NBA.
Yeah.
Just a big congrats to him. He's been one of these milestones was beating that, and now he finally has it.
I mean, people can say what they can say about LeBron, love him, or even if you don't love him, that man belongs on the NBA Rushmore.
Yes.
There is no way he is not on, the NBA's list of not top 5, top 3 all-time greatest players.
There's no debate on that one anymore, especially after this milestone.
Regardless of where you put him, 1, 2, or 3, it doesn't matter to me. He is right there in the NBA's Mount Rushmore. There is no denying him of that, of that honor.
Yeah. I mean, how many players can you say that won the in-season tournament too? So
pretty soon, Mookie, we're gonna have teams that could win the IST and win the finals.
Yes.
In the same year.
That's the double. That it makes winning all the more sweeter for teams like that. So another reason why the in-season tournament is such a success.
You're right.
Okay. Another highlight relating to basketball is, of course, the Denver Nuggets winning the championship this season. Nikola Jokic just dominated the NBA for, I think, 2 months. Showed everyone how inferior they are compared to his style of play, his offense. And I just love Jokic because of how different he is on and off the court.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Jokic, and that's why this is one of my sports stories of the year, because Jokic is such a killer on the court, but then off the court, he just doesn't even want to think about basketball. He has a separate life, and I think that's so relatable for, I think, everyone.
Yeah. I mean, you can be superb at your job.
Yeah.
But not necessarily think about it 24/7. Just like Nikola Jokic.
He treats basketball like a job, and I think it's so good that...
And he's damn good at it.
And I think it's so good that a really elite basketball player thinks that way, because then it just makes the league, and him especially, so relatable for fans to gravitate towards him. So.
Right. And I recall you saying this to me, that Nikola Jokic just reminds you of just these fundamentally sound basketball legends like Larry Bird, that type of mold, where their moves are so economical. Right? Tipid eh. They don't...
No one, there are no extra motions that, make him more tired. He doesn't do that. He makes the right pass, he makes the right read, and most of the time he makes the big shots. So.
Yeah. Yeah, although on the other end of the spectrum though, kind of feel for Jimmy Butler. I mean, he's been carrying the mail.
He's been knocking on that door
since the bubble run that they had. No, so it was great seeing him back in the finals. But for him in Miami, I just wish that Jimmy has one last run in him.
Yeah. I think he does. Right. And the last
Okay.
sports story I would like to mention is Carlos Alcaraz in the world of tennis beating Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon.
Carlito!
This young kid is a stud. After beating Nole like that, that ended up being his only Grand Slam loss this season. And Djokovic was running for 8 straight as well, trying to beat the great Roger Federer's record. And Carlos Alcaraz just outlasted him.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way you can beat Djokovic, especially when he's at that level.
If you can make Novak slam his racket into the pole, that means you got him.
You got him.
You got him.
You got him. And that's what he did. Alcaraz is such a youthful player, and you see it every time because of the way he gets at every ball. You know, even the balls he can't reach, he'll try to reach it. Yeah, so it also reminds me, he has like a Dennis Rodman type of motor on him, where he'll just try to get it. He'll try to just put the ball the other side of the net, and it worked. That's how you get under Novak's skin, in my opinion. You just have to work harder than him, and not a lot of players can do that, and they'll tell you that they can't do that. But Carlos Alcaraz, in the biggest moment, just kept giving it to Novak Djokovic.
Right. And things were looking up for him ever since that US Open title run in 2022, no? And just to deny the ultimate winner in tennis a calendar slam, that belongs to you for the rest of your life.
Right. And winning at Wimbledon too, which is their prestigious, event of their season. So a huge congrats to Carlos Alcaraz for winning his second Grand Slam. For that.
Carlito ha ganado. And that wraps up our top sports stories of 2023 recap. Thank you, Mookie, for compiling the list for us. And to all our listeners who tuned in to the comeback of Radyo Katipunan Sports this 2023, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for showing your support for Mookie and I. We both of us, put a lot of, heart into this every first day. I know it's a passion project of ours, but hey, thanks for showing your support and taking in a listen to our episodes. So, to everyone listening to us out there, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I just want to give a shout out again to Achi Jen, Tita Fe, and Father Nono. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before we end, I just want to ask this. What is Mookie's Christmas sports wish of 2023?
Ooh, my Christmas sports wish. I just want the Lakers to have a healthy season. I think if they have their healthy season, they're going to make some noise come playoff time. So that is my wish for this Christmas.
All right. And my wish is, Pop, just one win. One win to end 2023. I am tired of the 18-game losing streak for my Spurs. That it ends, I don't know when, but soon. I hope it ends soon. And that does it, guys, for this episode of Radyo Katipunan Sports. Thank you so much to the hardworking production team of the Voice of the Blue Eagle, led by Justin and Teo. Thank you to my co-anchor, Mookie B. And most of all, thank you to our Blue Eagle Nation for tuning in and supporting Loyola Heights' #1 sports radio show. Please don't hesitate to send in your comments, questions, greetings. Mookie and I will be glad to get back to you in our next episode next year, 2024, when we do return. Once again, this is Anthony saying goodbye, one big fight, and Merry
Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays.
From Mookie and I, bye-bye, peace. See you soon.
Welcome to RK Sports, where we take you right into the action with the highlights, insights, and analysis of the sports scene in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. With your hosts, Anthony Perez and Mookie Borja. Katipunan. Game on.
Radyo